It's my great pleasure to welcome to Christ Church Cathedral Stephen Price, my friend who is professor of organ at Ball State. Stephen, welcome almost to Christ Church Cathedral. We're both not at Christ Church Cathedral right now, but soon we will be for an organ recital on Saturday night, the 20th of November at 6:30 p.m. Stephen, it's so great to see you.
So great to see you, Chris. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. We're so excited for your program Beyond the Boundaries on Saturday night at 6:30. Stefan, I wonder how if you'd tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got into playing the organ, how we both found ourselves living in Indiana all these years later. But could you introduce yourself to folks?
Hi, I'm Stephen Price. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, but I basically have been in Indiana 10 years. So I guess that makes me a Hoosier now. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what a Hoosier is. I came to Indiana to start graduate work for my master's degree at Indiana University in Bloomington. And then I stayed for doctoral studies, and Chris was there at that time too. So we go back to the student days at Bloomington. And it's so great to reconnect with Chris, who's now teaching at IU, and to see the wonderful work he's doing at Christ Church Cathedral. And then after I finished coursework at IU, I went out to San Diego for a couple of years, and then the position opened up, the organ faculty position at Ball State University, and I was interested in getting my foot into the door of academia. So then I decided to come back to Indiana and move to Muncie. And this is my 4th year of teaching at Ball State University, and I teach organ courses. I teach music history and music theory. So I've really been enjoying my time here back in the Hoosier State, and I'm looking forward to the concert on Saturday.
Fabulous. And at Ball State, you get to play a absolutely stunning organ by Goulding and Wood in the concert hall there. John Goulding, of course, being a parishioner at Christ Church Cathedral. So we have that connection, and you have a fabulous concert series. You just had our old teacher, Bruce Neswick, come play a recital, which was just stunning. And I've so enjoyed every time I've set foot in that concert hall. It's just a beautiful instrument, and I love the series that you curate there.
Yes, yeah, it is. It's a beautiful marriage between the hall and the organ. It's one of the best concert venues, in Indiana. So certainly.
Yeah. Well, speaking of one of the best concert venues in Indiana, let's talk about your program at Christ Church Cathedral. So you're featuring both organs. Could you tell us a little bit about the repertoire that you're going to play?
Yes, so I'll start on the Taylor and Booty instrument in the back. And this instrument is very interesting. It's built in the Baroque style, the time of people like Johann Sebastian Bach. But the music I'm playing on it, I'm starting with a piece written basically in the 21st century by the Swedish composer Erland Hilden, who is an organist himself and a composer living in Gothenburg, Sweden. And he likes to write organ music in the minimalist style. So this is from his toccata from Symphony No. 1, the first piece. And it starts out with a rhythmic motive that then builds and expands throughout. And it really explores the complete tonal palette of the Taylor and Booty instrument, from the soft flutes to the loud reeds. Then from there, I'm playing the variations on Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star by Mozart, another piece that will show off the different colors and stops of the instrument. And then the first half will end with the famous Chaconne in D minor, originally written for solo violin from Johann Sebastian Bach's Partita. And this is an adaptation for organ. So all of these pieces definitely tell a story and have their own journey. And my students will be helping me with all of the different stop changes, because that organ doesn't have combination action. So I'm grateful to my 2 students who will be up in the gallery with me. In the second half, we'll be up in the front instrument, the Helmut Wulf instrument, and I'm starting with the Dupré Prelude and Fugue in C major, which is rarely played, really fun fugue subject. And then the Impromptu by Vierne. And I chose this particular piece because this piece was played on the dedication of the instrument when it first went into the cathedral. From there, I'm playing a piece by Rachel Laurent, who is a French-Canadian composer living in Ottawa, 3 impressions on Kingsfold. And then my friend Justin Kinchin will join me for the Adagio by Marco Enrico Bossi, an Italian composer, who wrote a piece for violin and organ, beautiful piece. And then ending with the bombastic variations on Old Hundredth by the American composer, Calvin Hampton, who is no longer with us, and unfortunately was taken all too early by the AIDS epidemic, but a wonderful composer of concert music and church music. So that is the program.
Fantastic. I love the really eclectic program that you've put together, and I love that you're playing a lot of French music on just about the 30th anniversary. The pandemic sort of put the kibosh on properly celebrating some anniversaries, but it's just 30 years ago that the Hellman Wolf organ was put in, and it's just getting completed a year-long renovation. So it's going to sound as good as it sounded on day one when it was dedicated by Olivier Latry, a French organist who's titular organist at Notre Dame. So it's very appropriate that we're getting a lot of French music from the front and also Italian music, and I can't wait to hear it. It'll be great. You just put out a CD, which you were gracious enough to send to me from the Goulding and Wood organ at Ball State. I wonder if you could tell me a little bit about that project and what type of music you played for that.
So the title of the CD is called Paris Impact Organ Suites, showcasing three composers: Pierre Dumage from the French classical period, Jean Alain from the French 20th century period, and Ned Rorem, the American composer who is still with us. And I decided to choose these pieces because the organ is built in the 19th century French aesthetic, as far as the design of the console and the stop choices available. The French romantic instrument was the model for building this instrument in Sursa. So it shows off the French classical music beautifully with all of the different stops on the positif. Goulding and Wood did a wonderful job with including those stops to play both Baroque music and Romantic music. The Suite for Organ by Jean Alain, from the first time that I heard that piece, I wanted to learn it. I fell in love with it. And so I decided that would definitely go on a first CD if I ever did one. And then Ned Rorem is actually a Hoosier. He was born in Richmond, Indiana, not too far down the road from Muncie, and he also spent time in Paris. So each of the composers basically studied composition during their formal education in Paris, and then went on to other places. So that was the basis for choosing those pieces. And his piece is called Views from the Oldest House, based off of different scenes on the island of Nantucket. So really interesting and colorful piece.
Yeah, I think the first time I ever became aware of Ned Rorem was hearing you play some of his music when we were both in graduate school way back when. So I'm glad that thread continues with that composer. Well, I do hope that you'll bring copies of this CD, that we might have opportunity to buy some copies from you at Saturday's program. So that concert is at 6:30 p.m. We're doing it old school. We're not live streaming it, Stefan. You got to be there in the moment. It's like live theater, right? You've got to be in the room. Which it's been so exciting to get back to live performances. We've had wonderful concerts on the series up to this point. This is our first concert featuring the organ, both organs, I should say, in this year's program. And then we sort of wind down for the holidays and crank back up in January with Echoing Air, a local-based early music group. But I'm so thrilled to have you playing the Wolf organ for the first time after its major renovation. People have been hearing it in church, but hearing it in a very limited way. And to put the Taylor and Booty through its paces, not just with Baroque music, which fits it like a glove, but with modern music as well, because it's such a fabulous instrument. It can really play anything, even if it's with a German accent, it can really play anything. Yeah. So, well, I know that the folks at Christ Church Cathedral will love this program and love getting to know you, Stefan. I'm so honored that you accepted the invitation and that you can come be with us and play. Especially after a really brief stint when I first started at Christ Church Cathedral of you playing our even songs on Thursday nights. This was interrupted by your schedule and then COVID, but we had such fun together for just a handful of months of getting to hear your artistry on a weekly basis. So I'm so glad to have you back at Christ Church, and really excited to hear this program.
Yes, and if I can say, if you are free, is Evensong back up? Is the choir back, Chris? And
So the choir, the choristers right now are singing even songs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. The adults of the choir are singing Sunday morning right now. Our plan is to remix those groups once every single kiddo is vaccinated come January.
well, I encourage you to all go. It is a exceptionally beautiful service, a time for reflection and meditation, and the choir does a beautiful job each week. So please do go and check out that service.
Thank you, Stefan. And please do come to the recital at 6:30 p.m. this Saturday, the 20th of November. It's going to be fabulous. Thank you so much, Stefan.
Thank you, Chris.